Good morning and welcome. My name is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow, and I am here with another day of live community streaming for you. Get the hotkeys right. I did a little bit of tweaking on the titles just before the show, so yes, more variables to work with. Live stream seem to be up and running. We are doing this on, let me get that going. As I mentioned, my name is Chuck Tomasi, ServiceNow guy with the red bow tie. Come and follow me on Twitter. You can get all this good information, not over at developer.servicenow.com, but since I have that up there anyway, you can go over to developer.servicenow.com, which looks like this in the background. This is our home of the ServiceNow developers, and I encourage you to go over there for our APIs, for a free developer instance. I am going to close one more add window, and we should be good. And refresh that just to be on the safe side. Looking forward to talking to you, seeing you this morning. Good morning, SPH Music Videos. Good to see you again. Our looks like our usual group of what should we call this? Our network, our network of people is showing up. Love seeing you. If you are going to developer.servicenow.com, check out the events. There are some developer meetups around in your area. Don't want you to miss that out either. It will be under events. And one of the events that's coming up is Tech Now, episode 47. You can find it here. You can also find it on the community if you look under events there. We are going to be covering record producers and interceptors. Dave Slusher, Craig Stepp, and I had a dry run on this presentation yesterday. Needed some tweaks. I'll admit, our practice run doesn't always go flawlessly. There's a lot of skips and jumps, and oh my gosh, I forgot basic encoded queries yesterday. But I have it all down now, and I have it rehearsed it once or twice more. So I encourage you, this Thursday, which is tomorrow, oh my goodness, it snuck up on me, at noon Pacific time for Tech Now. Some about record producers, but I want to introduce you more to interceptors if you haven't heard of those before. Show you a creative way of using those and what they're all about. Anyway, community. If you are online and you've got a question, please try not to ask it in the chat. I love to give shout outs. Let me know where you're from, how's the weather, that kind of thing in the YouTube and Twitch chat. We do this on YouTube, but if you've got a question or an issue, go over to community.servicenow.com. As of this weekend, we are now running on ServiceNow, software community that comes with CSM, and we're still exploring. If you've got feedback, I'll show you where you can leave that. It's still a little shiny. There are some things that I really like about it over the old software, and there are some rough edges that we need to work out. Given this is software, and I know a lot of people who watch this also do software. There's only so many time to get so many features involved, and we were very eager to get this to the customers, but didn't want to get it out before it was really functional to those who needed to use it. Now we feel it's got that baseline functionality that we can get with. If you didn't watch yesterday's, maybe you want to get a little guided tour of how watch yesterday's video from the what was that, the 20th of February? This is the 21st of February. Wednesday, February 21st. February is almost done. There's one more week. Time flies. But go watch that, and I'll give you a little tour around the menus and how you work the inbox, and you can see how I work it as well. I'm still figuring this out. A lot of my process was built around the way that Jive worked. Now that we're on the ServiceNow community, I have to make some tweaks and adjustments and where notifications go and how they're processed, that kind of thing. It's turning out to be I feel there are some optimizations, and there are still some optimizations that can be made. So I am feeding back to the people who support the community. Huge thanks to them. This was not a minimal effort. This has been in the process for months and months and months with the software we built and how what we needed to put on it, how the community worked. And they've been working with me and a number of other community people. Excuse me. We've been working in the background, doing some testing, giving some feedback, and they did a great job. I think this is a wonderful product. Still, the best community in the internet, in my opinion. There is so vibrant. People are so giving. Very smart people. Good Evening, Pretam. uh, you were saying good morning until I called you out yesterday. Good job. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. That's how I usually start this. I was off on the wrong foot. So thank you for setting me straight on that. What else have I got? Mention YouTube. If you are on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. There's a button around here somewhere. Click the subscribe button. You'll get notified as new episodes of this and other publications from the community come out, of course. You guys know how to do that. If you also want to watch on Twitch, we've got that. Twitch keeps them around for a couple of weeks. I don't know if we have a paid Twitch account or not. I think you can keep them longer or turn them into YouTube video, whatever it is. Twitch is an alternate that we've got there. I do see one person viewing on Twitch. Thank you very much. That's exciting. Don't get to see that too much. And the group on YouTube is growing. Thank you, thank you. We also want to remind you to check out knowledge.servicenow.com. I know I say this every day. It's getting closer, kids. We're now only about 80, less than 80 days away, probably about 75 days away from Knowledge. We've got March, April, a few days in May, and a few days left in February. So not a whole lot of time left. If you are a speaker, the whip is cracking. I feel it. I am both speaker and reviewer for a lot of the CreatorCon sessions, and I look forward to seeing those. I really wish I had like this cloning technology so that I could go to all those sessions. There is some great stuff on the agenda, and the agenda will be published very, very soon. I believe in the next week or so. So look for that on the Knowledge site so you can start planning your agenda. Go sign up, click that checkbox that says CreatorCon so you're entitled to go to that content. You've heard this spiel before. It's the same people watching every day. And, well, maybe there's some new people. This is your first time watching. Thank you very much for joining. The whole purpose of this, if you haven't figured out from my blathering for the last 7 minutes, is I go on our community, which is right there, and I try and resolve questions. This is totally unscripted. I've got discussions from yesterday. I've got discussions from last week that I will bring you up to speed on what the history is of that. I will go through and take some new questions and also maybe uncover a couple of bugs in the new software. We don't know. Whatever happens, happens. It's completely unscripted for about the next hour or so. You get inside my head, find out where I'm looking, what I'm doing, maybe discover a shortcut here and there or a new tip or trick and say, hey, I didn't know about that. If you're watching live and you say, hey, whoa, slow down, I want to know more about that, I'll be happy to explain it. This is my way of being at your desk or in your living room or wherever you're watching this. Thank you again. That you can have me as your kind of personal assistant for the ServiceNow community, and we will learn and share and grow together. Sound good? Let's get started. Let's put the subtitles away. I'm sure I forgot something in that intro. I should really spread that out and say, it's about 20 after. Let's do a commercial break. But nah, this is unscripted, totally loose format. I first need to sign into the community. Someone didn't do their homework. I was playing around with subtitles and cameras just before it started. So apologize for the small font. This only comes up once, and that didn't feel right on the keyboard. Numbers, letters, symbols, and a few emoji just to have fun with it. Now I'm logged into the community because it says my name up there, and I've got some stuff in my inbox that I will take a look at momentarily. One thing I did notice is right before the show, somebody said, what's the alternative for set redirect URL in Service Portal? They want to take a page and direct it to another one after something is done. And we've had some discussions. Let's see, 6 replies. Did you ever find a solution for this? I'm looking for the same. This is about a year ago. Oh my goodness. You can try using window.location, but it says Windows unknown. I was working on something, oddly enough, for TechNow Live at CreatorCon. We are doing 3 sessions in the Developer Theater, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I believe it's 12:30 to 1:30. Might be 12 to 1. I have to double check that. And we're going to be building out on some of this stuff. Looks like my inbox is there. Where was I going with this? Oh, my personal developer instance, my free personal developer instance. And that's one of the few times I ever look at my keyboard is when I'm doing my password, because it just never feels right. I was writing an app. I had a service portal widget that was waiting for something and sending it to somewhere else based on, look at the widget editor. You know, I don't do too much service portal on this show for whatever reason, but let's take a look. I have a widget that displays a question with some responses on it. Maybe I'll show this to you a little later. And up here, my client script, put the CSS away so we can actually see the client script. Somewhere in here, I thought I had a go-to. There's an update, There, location.url. All right, so I do have a response to this. I just don't remember where I called that. I think it was from a button. We're going to find out. Yes, I have next and previous buttons because it's a series of questions. If you're on question 2 and you want to go to question 3, obviously you hit the left or the right arrow. Here's the way I do it. Not sure if it's officially correct, but hey, it works. And we can't spell officially today. No tea this morning. I already had a cup of chai, and that's about as much sugar as I can get in one day. I had a dream last night. My pants didn't fit, like to the point where I couldn't close them. There's a nightmare for you. Walking around with your hand holding your pants up. Well, half the kids do that anyway these days. In the client script, I use, you never know what you're going to get on this show. It might be, oh no, we can't do indentation here. Let's try the formatting. I want to try this code sample thing. Language, JavaScript, paste. Yes? Got to be a save button or something down here. Is my font just too big? What am I not seeing? Haha! It was. Couldn't scroll either. Hey, that looks pretty nice. That looks pretty nice. In the HTML. Let's do that again. That was fun. We did events. We'll come back to the doc site in a bit. And then in the HTML, I have, down below my questions, there it is. It's on a button. Let's just put in a whole button thing. And I calculated that URL from the server script. Somewhere I'm going to find this. I have a button with an ng click that looks like this to go to the next record. Well, let's insert. Don't want to cough in your ear. That's impolite. Sometimes I just can't reach the button quick enough. And then finally, the data.nav.prev is calculated in the server script by a script include function. But it ultimately comes out as a relative URL. And E equals some widget, question mark, sysparm, foo equals bar. Okay. Oh, first time I've done code snippets in the new community. Let's see how it looks in the response. That looks pretty nice. Use elastics. Pretam. Use elastics. I'm a little confused on where that came from. Help me with the context. Sometimes I talk and talk and talk for about 10 minutes and then I look up here and the message might be 10 minutes old, but I've said 500 things. So if you'd be so kind, was that in response to something I said or did, or the coughing? I don't know. We'll keep the vocal cords lubricated. Expand that back out so I can see. Have to remember to reduce that when I do. Okay, let's go to the unsolved ones. I saw some interesting stuff in here. Although, hang on, there was something checked off right there. What did it say? Where'd it go? I did say all, right? All. I just saw a green check mark. Action.set redirect URL is not working. Let's find out. Some of these things just pique my curiosity. Trying to open a wizard from a UI action. Ah. Interesting. It needs to be a URL. Oh, this is client script. If you got alert and action, it's a server-side function. Brad solved this 4 years ago. Oh, man. Good for him. I love it when people... So that wasn't recently solved. Let me go back to unsolved. You know what? I'm going to go into the inbox because it's still figuring out the whole processing of the inbox thing. Passing a variable in service portal. This one came up 3 days ago. Wonder if... Is that linkable? No. Question 3 days ago. I want... Oh, okay, I'm missing something that I used to do all the time, and that was click the title to bring up this article in a separate tab, and then I could see the whole thing, and look, go to content. Sometimes when I wish for something, it's already on the screen. So, and this icon means pop out in a different tab, which it did. Oh, no more shift clicking. God bless our developers. Hi, all. Oh, elastic pants. That's what you're laughing at. There's a discussion my wife and I had last night. Something about that. It's because we had a get-together last night, and I was loading up on the sweets, and I really shouldn't have. Been doing pretty good since the first of the year on watching the sugar intake, but last night was just a binge, which is probably why I didn't sleep very well. Passing variable in service portal 3 days ago. I have necessity to pass a variable from one page of service portal to another. The situation is following. Okay, so I believe I replied something on this about SP get parameter. Yes, I said call another page using ID equals my second page and sysparm record equals some sys ID. There is a, I thought when you looked at a thread in a separate page by itself, it would show all the replies, but it does not. We still have to go digging for replies. I thought that was just unique to the inbox, that we had to, everything was collapsed and expanded. Hey, Ashutosh, thanks for the response. Can I understand where to use it? Is there a new response on this? What was the update in here? Ashutosh replied to this. I'm getting away from the actual question. Oh, here it is. It's a reply to a reply. Mining for replies. And the thing is saying waiting, waiting, waiting. Don't forget to look up there. That's the waiting status, just like on High or many of the other pages. Service portal pages like to do that. How are you redirecting the record producer page? So my response was ignored on this, but I am still part of the discussion. Next in the inbox, put data into selected bucket using scripts. I haven't looked at these this morning, so normally I preview my inbox. This is completely unpreviewed. Created 6 hours ago. Put data in selected using buckets. Can you put data into the selected bucket list collector using client scripts? I know we can move data from available bucket to selected bucket, but we need to initially put some data into the right bucket. That's normally done with... The slush bucket is going to point to a table, and that would be a record producer. The slush bucket appears with a many-to-many relationship in most cases. You can filter what's in there with a reference qualifier. Client scripts generally, yeah, you don't want to use client scripts in most cases because they're too slow. In most cases, client scripts aren't going to give you... Typing's not doing so well this morning. To give you the performance you need. Yeah, in many cases, client scripts may have performance issues. Because the client has to go to the server, then back, then pass back all that information. Information to make the list. Reference qualifiers, on the other hand, run on the server and happen before the list is presented. What is the underlying business requirement here? There's a question I haven't asked in a while. There. It would help us to understand the underlying business requirement. Take out that question mark. Thanks. Don't forget, kids, when you post, there's a couple things to keep in mind. One, make sure that your community post is in the right area, the right forum, we're now calling them. They used to be spaces. This one is in the developer community, which makes sense. I've seen things in the wrong area, and there are people who specialize in watching just those areas. I don't happen to be one of them. I see as many forums, I almost said spaces, as many forums as possible, just to get a broad spectrum. I can't help in all of them. Many of the ITOM questions go over my head, or security, or GRC, or HR. I'm not a specialist in those, but occasionally I'll see something that is platform related and can help, or at least help get to the right people, or mention the right people, that kind of thing. Let's get to the next one. The other thing is to include information. I mean, don't write a book about your problem. I don't need to know the history of your application, but rather than throwing us a technical solution and saying, I want to build a reference qualifier to do this, it helps to know, is the reference qualifier even the right solution? It helps to give us a little background on the problem you're trying to solve. So, Patrick, thank you. Something's in the top right. I think it's the go-to content that you were watching earlier. I'll make a guess on that. There is about a 30-second lag from when I talk to when I see it on the screen. So I'm mentally counting right now, and we'll see how long that takes. Yeah, I found that icon, and I'm just loving it. More like about 15 seconds. One of my superpowers, I have a built-in timer. I can count time without even counting. I only have 2 superpowers, and you don't want to know the other one, or I'd have to kill you. That was the reply to that one, right? Put data in buckets. Yep. Sean P. McLean, employee for ServiceNow. I like Sean. Hello, group. Oh, this is in training and certifications. Can someone suggest courses trainings relevant to human resources? Absolutely. I've tried to curate all the resources. Excellent. I like that. Where's the helpful button? 7 hours ago. Man, this guy was up late. Well, he's in California, so it would have been about 10 p.m. I like it. Let's see if helpful works. Yay, and increment the helpful. I want to hide insert new row from embedded list without using ACL. I like the big urgent. I love this avatar too. The Android guy with his arms crossed. I cannot use creator delete ACL for this table embedded list because I want to enter data from its form level. Oh, this is an old thread. Urgent, 11 months ago. Still hasn't been answered. Gotta love it. And I asked for an explanation. Is there anything new in here? There was. Rob KS. So now I have to go looking for the Rob KS response. That's not it. And for whatever reason, it pops back to the top. We're going to have to look into why that happens. And there is a response to a response. Relationship, work to treat, able to list edit to, just no, insert a new row. Is it a property? I think we talked about this. All right. Some of these are old threads, and I have to reacquaint myself with what they're trying to do. And I will try to reacquaint you as well. Thanks, Pretam. See you tomorrow. The stars align and God willing, I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my last day for a while. I do have some time off coming up for a personal matter, which will keep me away from the keyboard, but I will be back here as soon as possible. Automated application deployment for GitHub using curl and Studio, created about a year ago. We're getting some really old threads responded to. That happens. That happens. And this is still unresolved. Yes? Yes. It would have a green question mark if it was correct. Curl, request get, header, JSON, admin, cookies.txt, cookie jar. I haven't used the cookies thing. Interesting. Add repo post. So, who responded to this? Sajid Majid. Let's see. Down. Two replies to Chuck, which means one of them is in here. Usually what happens, and I find this, no, I'm not too keen on this disappearing scroll bar thing. I think that's how I got my Mac set up. Hi, Chuck. Has the functionality to use different GitHub repos added in ServiceNow so that we could leverage different integrations within our workflow? Example, as a part of the workflow, we need to check in a specific file to one of the dependent application repositories in our workflow. This integration will help. Please let me know if we could do such in ServiceNow. Sajid. I recommend starting a new thread. This sounds like a different requirement to the original question. Plus, it will get you more eyeballs on the question to find out if you can do what you are trying to do. Now, the other thing to remember is if you reply to a very old question, if it's sort of kind of remotely related to what's being asked, the only people that are going to see it are those who have participated on that thread in the past, which may not even work here anymore or log into the community. So your audience is going to be very limited. You may be better off starting a new thread. Of course, if everybody asked the same question 800,000 times, we'd have a lot more postings in the community, which may not necessarily be a good thing. Please include the business requirement and a bit about your workflow/process. Understand it so we can understand it, what you're trying to do. Not quite sure what he's talking about, dependent applications. That sounds almost like he's doing a scoped app and has some dependencies in there, but I'm not sure how the GitHub integration comes along and what they're trying to do with workflow. Override table label. This one came up yesterday. Pradeep answered it very well. He pointed to an article that had a workaround, and my response to that is this article that he linked to referenced a workaround in Helsinki, but he's saying he's got this in Studio. I didn't know this was still happening in Studio. Shanmugam. Hello everyone. I have not subscribed to these articles. Okay, that's not who I was looking for. Enemy. Your article, excuse me. Question, what release are you on? Pradeep's article referenced a bug in Helsinki. Did you encounter this in Kingston? Because the image said Kingston. If it's still happening after 4 releases, we have an open PRB on that, I'm going to start rattling some cages. Blair Reinhardt. Just as an FYI, I'm going to show you something after this, if I don't remember. Performance analytics and reporting. I'm not a strong PA person, but I'll see what I can do. Why is my microphone way over there? You can probably hear me better now. I didn't do that. Was I recording something else yesterday? Make sure I'm on the right microphone. I walked in, this thing was almost muted. That would have been bad. Trying to add breakdown to an incident-based indicator. Breakdown, this gets over my head. I'm not sure why I'm subscribed to this. Let's unsubscribe to that. That was easy. Something that I noted, Blair's profile says B. Reinhardt, and that's the handle that she originally created. If you want to use I showed this yesterday real quick. If you want to use your real name, go to your community profile, and you can put in the display, in ServiceNow terms, you can put in the display value for your profile. Just edit your profile, and in there, mine originally said C. Tomasi. Just put in the display name, and that's how you will show up in the community. Just an FYI. And back to the inbox, wherever we were. I would like a filter here to show just unread messages. Now to do that, let's go to the browse community forums. Let's look for a forum called member feedback. And first make sure it wasn't already asked for. Member feedback. We're going to give a little feedback about the community itself. Can I search within this? I don't see. Start typing. Unread. Nothing. Search forum. There it is. Unread. See? If I ask for something, it's probably already on the screen. Have you figured out how to change what badges show up under your profile? I have not yet. I'm not seeing them under the profile. Let me look a little closer next time. I want to make sure I don't reveal any personal information in my profile that I didn't want to publish either. Let me look in a little bit, and let's inbox clarity. Most of what comes up is not content I participated in. Community. As of right now, you scroll the left column. Mark is unread. Always stay on top. But if you then, okay, that's Goran's. I think I might have a valid new question that people can upvote. What is your question? Not a question, it's a feature request. Add feature show unread messages in inbox. Forum. Member feedback. Well, that's disappointing. I thought it would default there since that's where I was. Can we add a feature in the inbox to filter out the read messages, e.g. a button or menu option to display unread messages only. Thank you. They've been pretty good about the feedback. The two that I put in yesterday, I got responses last night. Said, hey, great idea. We'll take it up with the development team. So very nice. It's not going into a black hole. It's not exactly a ServiceNow feature request where I can keep tabs on it and get a ticket number and call somebody back and say, hey, what's the status of this? I don't have complete visibility to it, but if you do go into the member feedback, if you like that, you can click upvote. And we will see that. And then it says, hey, more people want this feature, so we will put that in there. I already have a tab open for my inbox. Let's go back to the title screen. I'm going to keep going through the inbox, scrolling down till I hit something that is unread. Adrian Bisdorf. Digging for replies in the inbox. Oh, he's the one who responded. Of course, now I'm going back to my inbox. He said, yeah, great idea. I didn't show you what my response was. I was just talking about that. Back down to Adrian's message. Digging for replies. I clicked his name instead of the message. I said, how about we don't have to keep drilling for replies? And that one's been upvoted 13 times. Thank you. Cool stuff. Great feedback. Thank you. I'll forward this to the team. Thank you, Adrian. DCG host marked an answer correct for a question. Phone number, format, and import. Somebody was asking about, there's an E164 phone format field that has a country and the phone number. And when you change the country code, the country prefix changes. For example, if I said I'm in a United States, it would say +1. If I'm in the UK, it would be 011. Whatever the country code is, it will change. And they said, hey, can I get an extension on there? And Michael Ritchie said, no, that's not the purpose of the E164 phone field format. You'd have to put the extension in a separate field. So that's that is as it is. Templates not appearing in toggle bar, old thread from, I think it was a few months ago, 2 years ago. Time flies. They were having a question, and Jude said, same issue here, Helsinki latest patch. If you're on Helsinki, recognize that Helsinki is no longer supported. We're not going to be making updates for it. We do an N-2 support. So we are supporting Kingston, which is now the current release, Jakarta, and Istanbul. So it's not that you won't be able to call up support and say, hey, I'm having this problem. You can still do that. It's just that we're not going to be doing any more software development on those releases unless there is some earth-shattering global economical crisis that's falling down. I don't know what the criteria is there for doing back patches and how far back those go. But if you're saying, hey, I got this bug with GitHub in Helsinki because that's when it first came out, not going to be fixed. If it has been fixed in Istanbul, Jakarta, Kingston, we'll say it was fixed in this release. We recommend you upgrade to that release. It's just a matter of how many resources we've got. Like I said earlier, so many developers, so much bandwidth. Adrian, another one, error pasting messages. When I did a screen capture and pasted it in yesterday, there was a pink message that said unsupported file format or file type not supported. Adrian came back and said, yep, I reproduced this and is forwarding it to the team. Thanks again, Adrian. Government system privacy warning. 9 days ago. This one, I don't know how I got on this thread. This is another one where we're all scratching our heads going, how exactly? Oh, ServiceNow user group. I think I am a part of that federal and U.S. public sector. I think I'm part of that snug group. You gotta be questioning some of this. It may not be working exactly as you expect. It may be working as intended. You know what? Got about 5 more of these. And I'm pretty far down here, so I don't want to lose track of where I am. But I do want to get to Patrick's question and look around for the badges. I don't see any badges showing up here, Patrick, next to the people's names. So let me know where you're looking. I don't know if that feature has been implemented yet. Because I know on the old software you say you could choose up to 3 of them. Say like, I'm a 2017 MVP. Or I went to Knowledge 17. I'm a certified implementation specialist, things of that nature. David, this is a thread. Dan has come back. Dan is one of our community administrators, and David thought that somebody other than the author marked a question as correct and said, whoa, 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 have the rules changed here? How can you mark something correct? Dan had said, only authors and admins can mark replies as correct. So he is an admin. He said, after investigating, I see one of our admins marked the response as correct. Previous platform had a feature called endorsed that didn't make it for go live, but is on our roadmap. Yay, endorsements are coming back, we hope. Favorite section items for $M.do not showing. Created 2 years ago, edited about a year ago. Chuck, is there any way to add the counters in the favorites desktop like we do on the mobile app? What he's talking about is, if you haven't used the native mobile app, you can put visualizations on there. Let me show you a screenshot. That is not the desktop we're talking about. There are favorites when you log in to the mobile app, little badges that show up, and you could say, I've got incidents, and they are directly related to, I'm going to put that service portal editor, or whatever reason, I've been yapping so much, I got timed out on my personal developer instance. They are related to these favorites. So when I put a favorite here, either dragging or manually, however it gets here, it will be synchronized when I pull it up on my mobile app. You know, I should hook up a iOS cable or something so I can have a mobile screen here. I just thought of that. That would be very handy for these mobile questions. We don't get many of them, but we do get them. And when you can configure the mobile app such that these favorites, except these two, location and connect, but if I had another one here that said incidents open, I can put a visualization on it, either a little bar chart and say visualize this grouped by priority, or put a counter on it, a single score widget, if you will, that says there are 15 open incidents. I say, can we get that on the desktop just like we do, so here, to have a counter, a visualization, just like we do on mobile? Sadly, the answer to that is not at the moment. So, good question to an old thread. Let me respond to that. Reply. At this time, I am not aware of a way to get counters or visualizations on the desktop similar to those on mobile. I like the idea. And you know it's coming. Put in an enhancement request. Excuse me. Didn't get the mute button in time for that one. Notification text footer from Ben Sweetser. One of our employees. I believe he just transferred over to the developer community. He's not in training anymore. 23 hours ago. In member feedback, let's see what his feedback is. I'm finding notifications from the community, in addition being quite bountiful, a little bit confusing. Yes, the footer is a bit confusing. I noticed that too. Chuck Tomasi replied to a question. Mine don't even come up that clear. I don't know what's going on. It looks like Chuck replied to a question. It's all mashed up against each other. He's got an HR divider in here. If you look very, very closely, I apologize for the small screen. Then it tells the post, and then at the bottom it says, thank you, community admin. But if you don't read the top, you don't know who replied to it. And it looks like, yes, it says at the top who responded, but it isn't clear which message is from the person who replied. If you look at the message, it's actually a reply. It needs some clarification. Thanks for the feedback. I'm going to upvote that one too. We do need to look at the way we do our notifications on those. We can look at getting the admin signature removed. In the new platform, you have much more control on what activities send you what email notifications. From your display name drop-down, select notification settings. Yep. Thank you, Dan. Broadcast. Client script to reload dropdown is not working in service portal. Reload the dropdown. Okay, so we have a really old thread. Created 10 months ago. Edited 10 months ago. I kind of like that parenthetical thing, because then you can tell if it was changed. If it's a 5-year-old message, but it was updated 2 weeks ago, somebody changed the main body content, probably for the better. We have this, which probably gives some good member feedback. You know what? I'm going to do that right now. Since my inbox is down to 1, it's probably at the top. This is just an old thread that I'm on. I don't know that I can unselect it. Common answer to this one is make sure that your client script says it's available for both. And can I unsubscribe from this one? No. Yes. Wait. It's subscribed, unsubscribe. Okay, blue is subscribed. There. I will not get any more notifications from that thread. Theoretically. Now, where's my new message? It's still hiding down here. This is why I want a show unread threads. Hover over the name to see the badges. Those badges. Okay, thank you. So what's on mine? I had a correct solution in here, I thought, or a proposed solution. Employee leader. That looks like a carryover from the old one, but I did not intentionally put employee on there. I don't want employee on mine. Well, maybe I do. Let's find out. First, let's find that last unread message. Right, yeah, so I gotta look for the blue dot. This is getting annoying. It may get lost in the noise. I don't see it. I know the old community used to be wrong on that little red counter sometimes. Okay, 3 days ago, that's as far back as my inbox history goes. I am not seeing a blue dot. It might be worth it for me to update the page. Let's do a refresh. It might be at the top and just hasn't shown up. We learn as we go. There it is. Show on message and it says, I posted a question. Oh, good for me. Why? That's one of those, why would I care? I already know what I did. Do I need evidence? Badges. Go to the profile, community profile. And I think it's under achievements. Wait. Achievements. Okay, here's 3. Edit profile. Change profile photo. I need a sharper image of that now that we're displaying bigger icons. Profile. Not seeing it. Patrick? Sounds like a good member feedback thing. I go back, unless it's under achievements. Yes, that is a very long title. Look at how long this is. I think I win the award for longest title in the company. Even if I spelled out manager, it'd be too long. We get word wrap on the title. Level, badges, employee earned, leader earned. It looks like it might just be the top 3. Your 3 most recent. That's not very helpful. Interesting. First annual CreatorCon attendee. I think that's a 1-up. I never saw any more CreatorCons. Alrighty then. How do you control those? Yeah, Patrick, put that in member feedback, and I'm going to upvote it. I think it needs editing. Editability capability. It is 10 minutes to the top of the hour, and this screen didn't refresh. So I'm going to put in another member feedback that we have these widgets talking to each other, and this thing stay more dynamic. The main screen generally needs more dynamic to it. Let's go to... You know what? I don't need to go anywhere. Let's go to member feedback. And I think Come on, search, search, search. Take a drink. Click. Post question. Now, will this default to the right place, he wondered? Yay, it did. Okay, what's your question? Homepage is not dynamic. How about make homepage more dynamic? Okay, as I use the main page and then tabs on other pages like the inbox, I come back to the home page and notice that it has no updates. Example. Oh man, I gotta stop hitting double enter. Example. Let's move that a little higher. I read all my unread messages in the inbox. Come back to the main screen tab on a separate tab, and the red indicator still shows 9 messages, unread messages. Not to compare, but the old community software kept these in sync. It seems like our widgets can broadcast and receive events to do the same. Additionally, wait, I gotta think about this other one. If I had the index of all unsolved messages, I'm not sure I would want it to continually refresh, because if I was just about to click on something and it went, hey, a new thing came in, I might be clicking the wrong thing. So I'm going to leave that one off. I don't think that's a good idea. The little bell, yeah. So let's change this. Make unread message widget. There. Okay, as I use the main page and tabs on other pages like inbox, I come back to the home page and notice that it is that the notifications has not updated count. Hopefully that's clear enough. As I heard in one of the Star Trek books I was listening to this weekend, clear as dilithium. Which I always thought dilithium was pretty clear, but never know. All right. Thank you, Patrick. I will look for the member. You know what? I should just keep a tab open on member feedback. Oh, my browser history still remembers my old links. How sweet. Eventually, those will go down the list for not being used. So let's go to member feedback. For the first few days, I should probably just keep a tab open on member feedback. We may have a bit to work with. Be the first to reply. Where are the Knowledge 17 labs? Can't find them in the library. You know, I should just read some of this feedback. This is good stuff. Notification text footer, we got that one. Read that. I don't know if I needed to or not, but I just did a command click on my Mac to open in a new tab. Have you checked the on-demand library? And do you see my second sentence? It was, can't find them in the library. Looks like Knowledge 17 exclusive content has labs in there. Maybe you're not entitled to them? Let's look. Knowledge 18 communities. Where did the on-demand library go again? Resources. Yes, no, events, blogs. On-demand library. Knowledge 17 exclusive content. Let's look for that and that. Ooh, dynamic filters, pretty sweet. Okay, they're there. Yeah, if I remember right, if the security settings on the new community are anything like the old one, you needed entitlement based on your conference attendance, I think, to see this content. Did you have access to the K17 labs and extended content in the old community? Doctor, will I still be able to play the piano after surgery? I don't see why not. Well, that's good. I couldn't before. It's going to be one of those days, I can tell. I thought I was off to a good start because I had a thought this morning at 3 a.m. to solve another problem. Yay, ServiceNow related problem. I took an application off of one instance and exported the update set and moved it over to another instance and then tried to publish it to the store or publish it to the app repo. And I got an error that said, you can't do that. And it didn't dawn on me until 3 a.m. this morning why I couldn't do that, because the application prefix is one thing and that instance has a different instance prefix, like a different company prefix. So the application I brought over was from a personal developer instance, which doesn't talk to the application repo, but I'm doing a video to demonstrate that. And it has the vendor prefix SNC. I don't know why we still use the C. It has no bearing. We're not ServiceNow.com, haven't been for a long time. And anyway, sidetrack there. My brain just went, I get pedantic once in a while. As in a lot. When I got it over to the other instance and tried to publish it, it says, this doesn't match. You don't have access to this vendor prefix. And I go, oh, well, it didn't say that in as many words, but that's my theory and I'm going to try it. So I have to take the update set and search for all the SNCs and replace them with whatever that instance says so that it looks like the application originated from the target instance when I load up that update set. I love it. So something to think about if you publish an application, the use case that you should be aware of is, let's say I write an application on one of my employee instances and it says SNC in there somewhere. You load it up on your dev instance. So say I publish it to share. Hey, the loaner request application has been updated. Okay. And I publish it to share. And you load it on dev and go, that's great. Let's publish it to the app repo and promote it. Instead of loading update set, loading update set, loading update set. Can't do that. You got to use the update set route if it came from some other vendor. Now, if it came from the store, that's a different question, a different issue. Because the store and the app repo are very closely related. Think of the app store as like a private, the app repo. Think of that as a private store. That's just you, your organization, anything that starts with, Acme, X_Acme. Those are your applications. Or in the case of my personal developer instance, X_66238. That's going to signify where this was, what company this originated from. If I were to publish that to the store, the application store is all certified and anyone can download that. So when you download it from the App Store, you're not publishing, you're downloading. The only thing you're doing, let's say one of our partners publishes an integration that you find very useful. You're not promoting it from dev to test to prod. You're downloading it to each one of those instances. So that's a different situation than trying to push. I am trying to push. That's where I'm getting into the issue. But downloading is I don't want to say ignored, but it's not an issue. It doesn't say, you can't download that. It came from vendor Acme. And you're not Acme, you're SNC. Doesn't matter. That's the whole point of the store, is you should be able to download and purchase anything you want, regardless of what the vendor prefix is. But publishing to the app repo when it's not your vendor prefix, that gets a little wonky. And that's what I was running into. We have a separate application repo set up for some of the developer instances, not personal developer instances, but where we've got some developer projects, the developer team, Dave Slusher, Josh Narias, etc., have been building these, and they were fortunate enough to allow me to do that. So when I published to this secondary app repo, things fell apart last week during my demo. I went, what? How hard can it be to publish an app? And this morning it dawned on me, I went, oh, I think I know why. So that's what I'll be fixing. And you know what? That short discussion took me to the top of the hour. I don't have any new threads to open. Well, I do have new threads to open up and take a look at. But it has been very fun, very informative. Not the most productive day in terms of how many things we went through, but I think it was a very good discussion, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/user/ServiceNowCommunity. If you are watching on Twitch, thank you very much as well. Over there on twitch.tv/NowCommunity. I realize not a lot of people are getting Twitch at work because it's a gaming network and it tends to be kind of high bandwidth for people to stream video all day. For some reason, my right auto channel doesn't work. Nathaniel, I'm not sure what a right auto channel is. Can you explain while we still have a couple of minutes and I'm continuing to go? Don't forget to sign up for Knowledge. Got to plug that one more time. We're getting close. I know the early bird pricing is all over, but you can still... Oh, audio. Your audio channel. You know what? I'm not seeing it either. I will check my connections too. I'm looking at the video broadcast software. I apologize about that. I will look into that. Apparently I have a loose connection somewhere. The microphone's only mono, so it's got to be after it comes out of the mixer. Thank you for letting me know that. Thank you very much. I will do some testing and look into that. Woohoo! Technical support on my end. I'd say put it in the community, but that doesn't belong in the community. Dear member feedback, Chuck's audio isn't working. And on that happy note, now that I have something to do for the next 20 minutes or so, digging around under the desk, I bid you a very excellent day. Go out and learn something, share something, and help people have a better day. So take care. Let me play the audio clip, and have a great tomorrow. Bye now.